Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Break the Fake, where we debunk fake news and combat false narratives. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and let's get rolling. So by now, you've probably heard the story about the so-called attack on Putin's residence. The news spread fast, sounded dramatic, and was presented as a major escalation. Now, let us slow things down a bit and explain how this story appeared and why almost nothing about it holds water. So at the end of December, Russian authorities claimed that Ukraine allegedly attacked Vladimir Putin's state residence in the Novgorod region near Valdai using drones. The facility is known internally as Uzhin and is one of many guarded residences linked to the Russian president. According to Lavrov, 91 drones were detected and supposedly destroyed by air defense. At the same time, the governor of the Novgorod region reported 41 drones shot down. That's a difference of 50 drones. Now, I'm no math Asian, but that doesn't sound like a rounding error to me. That's an entire misinformation.
В ночь с 28 на 29 декабря 2025 года киевский режим предпринял террористическую атаку с использованием 91 ударного беспилотного летательного аппарата дальнего действия на государственную резиденцию президента Российской Федерации в Новгородской области. Все беспилотные летательные аппараты уничтожены средствами противовоздушной обороны вооруженных сил Российской Федерации. Данных о пострадавших и ущербе от обломков БПЛА не поступало. Обращаем внимание на то, что данная акция была совершена в ходе интенсивных переговоров между Россией и США по урегулированию украинского конфликта. Подобные безрассудные действия не останутся без ответа. Объекты для ответных ударов и время их нанесения вооруженными силами России определены. При этом мы не намерены выходить из переговорного процесса с Соединенными Штатами.
US President Donald Trump reacted to Moscow's statements with unexpected bluntness. Quote, "I honestly don't know anything about this. I just heard about it. That will be very bad," he said during a meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, according to Sky News. Translation, the drones allegedly exist, but no one knows what actually happened. Trump later said Putin personally told him about the attack, like an exclusive movie premiere, audience size 1.
President Trump, yesterday there was an explosion overnight and the Russians say that Ukraine tried to hit the residence of President Putin. Do you have any information?
No, I don't know about it, actually, and I don't, I just heard about it, actually, but I don't know about it. No.
Did you speak with
That would be too bad. That would not be good.
the strike, the alleged strike on Putin's residence could scuttle the peace?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not good. I heard about it this morning. You know who told me about it? President Putin told me about it. Early in the morning, he said he was attacked. It's no good. It's no good. Don't forget, you know, the Tomahawks. I stopped the Tomahawks. I didn't want that. Because we're talking about, you know, it's a delicate period of time. This is not the right time. It's one thing to be offensive, because they were offensive. It's another thing to attack his house. It's not the right time to do any of that, and can't do it. And I learned about it from President Putin today. I was very angry about it.
The Kremlin then escalated immediately. Putin's aide Ushakov claimed Trump was shocked and outraged and could not imagine such crazy actions. Moscow followed up with threats to reconsider negotiations, accusing Ukraine of shirking obligations and claiming that agreements with Trump and Zelensky, quote, gave Kyiv too much freedom. And then the Russian opposition outlet Sota went ahead and popped Kremlin's fictional bubble. Journalists spoke with the residents of Valdai who neighbor Putin's property. Uzhin, and the response was unanimous. Silence. No explosions, no air defense fire, not even suspicious sound on the night of December 29th. This despite claims that 91 drones were intercepted. So what was this, magic? Ninja drones? Or a revolutionary breakthrough in silent air defense systems? The Institute for the Study of War stated clearly that the Kremlin provided no evidence that Ukraine attacked Putin's residence. Analysts suggested this misinformation campaign could serve as a universal excuse to sabotage any peace initiatives involving Ukraine, the US, and Europe. Volodymyr Zelensky called Lavrov's statement another lie aimed at justifying new strikes on Ukraine, and we're inclined to believe the same. However, just to add a bit of international weight, the Kremlin announced that the presidents of Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan had already condemned the attack. On the president of Uzbekistan's website, there is indeed mentions of aggression against Putin and his property. Meanwhile, on the president of Kazakhstan's website, there's nothing. Apparently, the website also operating on silent mode. Now, logistically, for Ukrainian drones to reach Valdai, they would need to fly hundreds of kilometers across Russian territory, past areas controlled by strategic missile forces and aerospace forces, move through dense air defense zone, and somehow avoid detection by every publicly known radar. Ukraine doesn't have any teleporting drones as far as we know, so either a miracle occurred or someone very deliberately chose not to notice anything. This story about Ukraine's alleged attack on Putin's residence is not about security or drones, it's more about manufacturing political reality when there are no real arguments left. With no evidence, the Kremlin immediately did three things. It loudly branded Ukraine a terrorist state, at least rhetorically. It questioned peace talks that were just beginning to take shape with US and European participation, and it tried to pull the West into its version of events by invoking Trump and claiming international condemnation. Thin air inflated into policy. Poland has officially sounded the alarm. AI-generated videos calling for the country to leave the European Union are flooding TikTok. And no, this is not a sudden ideological awakening of a Polish youth after watching 3 random clips boasting of traditional values. According to Warsaw, these videos almost certainly come from a disinformation campaign instigated and fueled by Russia. The scenario is familiar, straight out of an old Kremlin manual, just upgraded to HD and filmed through a gentle morning in Krakow filter. Young woman with Polish state symbol look into the camera and confidently declare, "Yes, I want Polexit. Enough of Poland being ruled from Brussels. It's our law, our money, our decisions." Sounds grand, there's just one problem. These women do not really exist. See, their voices are synthetic and their Polish carries suspicious overtone of Russian syntax. In other words, this is a fake Poland as imagined by Moscow, curated and filtered for TikTok.
Tak, chcę polexitu. Dość rządzenia Polską z Brukseli. Dość straszenia, że bez zgody z zewnątrz sobie nie poradzimy. To nasze prawo, nasze pieniądze i nasze decyzje.
A spokesperson for the Polish government noted that the scripts use linguistic constructions typical of the Russian language. Construction that makes sentences sound like they were translated through Google Translate and then confidently corrected by someone who thinks they know better but really doesn't. So Poland is now calling for an investigation into TikTok's role as the platform increasingly serves as a convenient tool for shaping political sentiment, especially among young people. Poland's been warned before. Last year, the European Commission opened proceedings against TikTok by accusing them of failing to protect democratic processes, particularly during the Romanian elections in November 2024. Russia, as always, is a passionate supporter of democracy, but only abroad, and preferably in a format that produces chaos, division, and a weaker EU. According to this logic, Polexit is not the goal, it is the instrument. The weaker the European Union, the louder the Kremlin's lecture about the decline of the West and Russia's historical mission. This proliferation of Polish AI videos serve as a warning to all of Europe. Propaganda no longer shouts from television screens, it smiles from your phone, blinks politely, and says, "I'm just like you." But if you hear the ghost of Russian grammar in a heartfelt speech about Polish sovereignty, it's no accident. It is a reminder that in hybrid warfare, faces can be faked, emotions can be generated, and likes can be part of a special operation. And when someone becomes very insistent that the EU is evil and that leaving is the only salvation, it might be worth checking whether this person exists at all or whether they were generated by the same neural network that accidentally believes in Polexit. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.